Intro. Good evening. Welcome in is RNQ Easy classes. Good evening. Welcome in RNQ Easy classes. Block World Religion. Block number one World Religion. Unit number 3 Introduction to Buddhism. 3.1 Objective. The Buddhism is not what we call top down religion on in which a deity reveals religious and spiritual truths of humanity. It is a bottom up religion created by humans as an attempt to express spiritual concept. Buddhism does not deny the existence of goods or of other worlds. And indeed, the devotional practices of many Buddhist traditions involve the venerations and invocations of special beings. Buddhism is a non-theistic religion, and unlike other world religion, Buddhism is not a doctrine of revelation. The Buddha did not claim to be the bearer of a message from high. He made it clear that whatever the thought he had discovered for himself through his own efforts. 3.2 Introduction. Buddhism originated as an alternative tradition to the excessive importance given to the rituals and sacrifices in Vedic tradition. It is also creation to the gross neglect of the social problems of the form, as well as a revolt against the hegemony of the Brahmins in the society. The main causes for the emergence of Buddhism are social. A Brahmin centered caste-based hierarchical setup was prevalent in the society. The authority to interpret the scriptures was vested with the Brahmin temples, which were the centers of social life were controlled by them. Laws of pollution were strictly imposed upon the people of the lower caste. Tribes and Dravidians were out of these caste structures. Economic agriculture and cattle rearing were the main source of wealth and livelihood for the people. Brahmins found out ways and means to exploit the lost sections in the society. Kings were made to perform yogas, yajnas, and Digvijayas, through which the Brahmins benefited a lot. The ordinary people had to contribute a major portion of their income to the kings. Brahmin and temples. Religious. Mode of worship, rituals and religious ceremonies were interpreted by the Brahmins so suit their interests. The Vedas, Aranyakas, Mimamans and Upanishads were written to pre perpetuate the hegemony of the Brahmins. Metaphysical speculations barred their zenith, which was the prerogative of the educated class. Exploitation by the higher caste and the suffering of the ordinary people continued un, unabated. It was a time of two extremes. The Vedic Upanishad believe in the absolute supported by sacrifice rituals, yajnas, and the materialistic philosophy of the Varga. Buddha avoided and negated the extremes and at the same time integrated the positive elements of these two systems. He negated the existence of the soul and the absolute, but he accepted the belief in the law of karma and the possibility of attaining liberation. His main concern was the welfare of the ordinary people. Through Buddha himself wrote nothing. The early writings were in the Pali and Sanskrit languages. This scripture is known as Tripitaka, Sanskrit Tipitaka, Pali. Three baskets or three traditions. There are Vinaya, disciple, Sutta, discourse, and Abhidharma. Doctrinal elaboration. Buddha was not interested in speculative or theoretical analysis of phenomena, but he was concerned about find out practical solution to problems in life. The influence of the early Upanishads is clear in the teachings of Buddha. Compassion and love were the predominant characteristics of Buddha. Charity was the basis of the Buddhist religion. Buddhist spirituality has four stages: ahimsa, not harming; maitri, love kindness; dana, giving; and karuna, compassion. Life of Buddha. Life of Buddha. Gautama or Siddhartha, who later came to be known as the Buddha or the enlightened one, was born into a wealthy Kshatriya family in Lumbini at the foothills of the Nepal. Gautam's father Sudhadana, a Kshatriya of the Sakya clan, was the king of Kapil Vastu, present day Nepal, and his mother was Mahamaya. She had a dream, will her way to her. Parents' home, that a white elephant entered her womb, and later Gautama was born at Lumbini. A white elephant is an important symbol for Buddhists every 2 day. On the fifth day of the childbirth, 108 Brahmins were invited for the main naming ceremony, and he was given the name Siddhartha. Siddhartha achieved Artha goal. One who achieved his goal. Many predicted that Siddhartha would become either a great king or a great sage. On the seventh day, his mother died, and his father married his mother's sisters, named Mahaprajapati Gautami. She brought up Siddhartha with love and affection. Gradually, he was called after his stepmother, Gautami Putra, son of Gautami. or Gautama, go cow bull, go cow bull. Tema the best cow or bull. The child was directly nurtured and brought up in palatial luxury. At the age of 16, Siddhartha married his cousin Yasodhara. At the age of 29, while he was traveling out of the palace, he had four encounters which left a lasting impact on him. He saw an old, decrepit man, a sick man, a corpse in a funeral procession, and a peaceful and serene ascetic wandering alone. The first three sights disturbed him, whereas the fourth one gave him hope and peace. After a son named Rahula, meaning rope or fetter, was born to him, one night he left home and wandered around for many years. He studied yoga and meditation from two hermits, Udraka Ramaputra and Alara Kalama. For some time he practiced severe asceticism but soon realized that it did not help him. Finally, he sat down at the bottom of the Bodhi tree at the age of 35 during meditation under the Bodhi tree, the tree of wisdom on the bank of the river Naranjara at Bodh Gaya near Gaya in modern Bihar. Gautama attained enlightenment. In the beginning, he was reluctant to share his experience with anyone for fear of being misunderstood. Gradually, he changed his mind and delivered his first sermon to a group of 5 ascetics who were old collegians in the deer park at Lasi Patna near Varanasi. After this, he taught all kinds of people till the end of his life, irrespective of their caste, religion, or status in society. After preaching and teaching for many years, Buddha attained Nirvana at the age of 80 at Kushinagara in eastern Uttar Pradesh. Buddha was the only religious founder who did not make any supernatural claim. He was simple and human. Whatever he achieved could be attained by any human person. Every person has the inner potency to become an enlightened one. Thought, constant meditation, and discipline. ଆଜି ଫୋନ୍ କରିଥିଲି ସେ କହିଲା କାଲି ଆମର ମିଟିଂ ଅଛି ତ ସାର୍ ସାର୍ କାମ କରେ ତା ସହିତ କଥା ହେଇକି ସେ ଯୋଉ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ବଡ଼ ସାର୍ ପଚାର ସେ ବଡ଼ ସାର୍ କହିଲା କି କ'ଣ ସାଂସଦ ଯୋଉ ରୋଷେଇ କରିଛନ୍ତି ସେ ଇଏ କହିଲା କି ହଁ ତାପରେ ସେ କହିଲା ହଉ ମୁଁ ତମକୁ କାଲି ବତେଇବ କାଲି ତମର ମିଟିଂ ଅଛି 10ଟା ବେଳେ ତମର ଝିଅ ତ ଆମେ ତ ନେଇକି ଚାଲୁଛୁ ଆଉ ତମେ ତ କଥା ତମର ଝିଅ ତ ରାଗିବ ନାଇଁ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ତାକୁ ନଗେଇ ନଗେଇ ଦିଅ ଟିକେ ଯେତେ ବି କଲେ କେତେ ବି କର ସେ ବେଇମାନ ଉପରକୁ ତା ରୂପ କଣ ତ ଖାଇକିରି ଚୋପା ପକଉଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ କଣ ଏଇ ପକେଇଥିବ ଏଠି ପକେଇ ନଥିଲା ମିଟିଂ କରିକି ସେ କହିଲା କାଲି ଶାନ୍ତନୁ ଆସିବ ଶାନ୍ତନୁକୁ କହିବି ତମକୁ ବି କହିବ କାଲି ମିଟିଂରେ ଯିବ ନା ତମେ? ଆରେ ବୁଝିବନି କହିଲା କି ମୁଁ ତମକୁ 10ଟା ବେଳେ ସାତଟାକୁ ଆସିବ କାଲି 7ଟାକୁ ଉଠି କହିବି ଆଉ କାଲି ମୁଁ ତମକୁ 10ଟା ବେଳକୁ କଲ୍ କରିବି ମିଟିଂ ପରେ ମ୍ୟାମକୁ କିଏ ଅଛି ମ୍ୟାମକୁ ଜଣେଇବ ହଁ ମ୍ୟାମକୁ କହିଲା ମୁଁ ମ୍ୟାମକୁ ଜଣେଇବି ମ୍ୟାମକୁ କଥା ହେଇକି ମୁଁ ତମକୁ କଲ୍ କରିବି ତମେ କହିବ ଫୋନ କରି କହିଲା ତମକୁ କହିବା ପାଇଁ हाँ कोई ने कोई ये पचारी भाई तुम ये पचारी वो लड़की क्या बोला था लड़की कुछ क्या हुआ पचारी दादा तो छाड़ Buddha was the only religious founder who did not make any supernatural claim. He was simple and human, and whatever he achieved could be attained by any human person. Every person has the inner potency to become an enlightened one through constant meditation and a disciplined life. He founded the religion of Buddhism after he attained true Buddhism under the Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya. In his first public address at the Sarnath Deer Park in Banaras, Buddha spoke of the Four Noble Truths, which are the world is full of suffering. Suffering is caused by desire. Suffering can be removed. In order to remove suffering, one has to overcome desire. 3.34 Noble Truths. The Buddha was last interested in metaphysical discourse or dogmas. He was concerned about ethical living applicable to all sections to of people, kings, Brahmins, people of low caste matters, servants, monks, ordinary people, etc. He taught about the nobility of a religion. The Four Noble Truths are the essence of the Buddha's teachings, which he explained in his first sermon to his old colleagues at Sipatna. These noble truths are explained in detail later in other early Buddhist scriptures. Dukkha, this is suffering in the world. Samudaya, the arising or origin of suffering. Nirodha, the cessation of suffering. 4. Magga, there is a path leading to the end of suffering. The first noble truth, dukkha. The term dukkha, usually translated as suffering, does not communicate the full implications of the word as used in the Buddhist scriptures because of the misleading and unsatisfactory translations of the term. Many people consider Buddhism as pessimistic, but in fact Buddhism objectively regards the world of reality Yathabhutam and suggests way and means to attain peace, happiness and tranquility. The word dukkha has a deeper meaning like imperfections, impermanence and emptiness. In addition to the ordinary meanings of suffering, pain, sorrow, misery, etc. Though the Buddha presented dukkha as one of the Four Noble Truths, he did not negate happiness in life. He accepted both material and spiritual happiness. Three factors are important with regarded to life and enjoyment of sense pleasure. बस आंटी मस्त की अच्छा लगा बस अरे बस क्या नहीं पुरुषोर अरे देख मैं तेको बता मैं भी स्पीकर चैट का प्रॉब्लम लगे ये कहता पेपर आंसर चैट ले They are attraction or attachment, dissatisfaction, and satisfaction leads to pleasure or pain, and disappointment. The cycle of birth and death is a necessary outcome of desire. The concept of dukkha can be understood from three aspects. Dukkha is ordinary suffering. Dukkha, birth, sickness, old age, death, separation from the beloved, grief, distress, etc. Dukkha is produced by change. As dukkha is produced by change, viparinama dukkha vicissitudes in life, a happy or a pleasant feeling that will change sooner or later and then produces pain, suffering or unhappiness. Dukkha has continued states. Samakhara dukkha, being or an individual has five aggregates of attachments. The five aggregates are the following: the agreements of matter, Rupakhanda are the first aggregate. The four basic elements of the universe that their derivates, the sense organs, and their corresponding objects in the external world included in aggregate matter. B. The second one is the aggregate of sensations. Vedana Khanda and his six is number. The sensation be obtained through our senses and mind are included in his category. In Buddhism, unlike in other traditions, the mind is considered as a sense faculty or organ and not a spirit. The third one is aggregate of perception, sanakanda, and is six in number in relation to the six internal faculties. The fourth one is the aggregate of mental formations, sang- संखारखंदा कांधा थोड़ा धीरे बाबा थोड़ा धीरे which include all volitional activities, both good and bad. The fifth is the aggregate of consequences, vinakandha, based on the six internal faculties and their corresponding objects in the world. Consequences is not spirit in Buddhist philosophy. These five aggregates together constitute the being. There is no other realist behind these aggregates to experience dukkha through the first noble truth is dukkha. Status of the Buddha always present Seren's calm, compassionate, and smiling face. The second noble truth, Samudaya, the erasing of dukkha, the oft repeated explanation of the second noble truth is it is thirst which produces re-existence and re-becoming and which is bound with passionate greed. It finds fresh delight now, here and now, namely the thirst for sense pleasures, to thirst for existence and becoming, and three, thirst for non-existence. The thirst, desire, or craving manifested in different forms in human life give rise to suffering and continuity of life, but desire to the immediate and all providing cause can't be considered as the first cause because everything is relative and interdependent. Thirst, Tana depends on sensations and sensation depends on contract for its organization. Hence, it is a circle that goes on and on, which is known as dependent organization. Praktisha Samupada. Most of the economic, political, social, and ethnic problems are rooted in the interest of a person or a group or a nation. The theory of karma. Thirst as a cause for a re-existence and re-becoming is closely connected with the theory of karma and rebirth. Four factors are involved in the existence and continuity of being. They are ordinary material, food, contact of the sense organs with the external world, consequences and mental volition or will mental volitation is karma. It is the root cause of existence. Mental volition strengthen is the desire to love, to re-exist, to continue, to become more and more. This comes under one of the live aggregates which are called mental formations, with the case of the arising of dukkha as well as the destructions of dukkha are within us. Whatever has the nature of rising within dukkha has the nature of cessation within. There is a basic difference. बैठो वो वाले चेयर पे बैठ जाओ ये वाले चेयर पे बैठ जाओ क्या बोल रहे को नीचे बिठा दे नहीं ये वाला चेयर दे रही हूँ ना ये ऐसे खड़ा रहेगा खड़ा रहेगा इसका इसके नीचे अच्छा हाँ ऐसे सपोर्ट बना देंगे वो और ये पाइप को भी फिट करना इसका अपना हाइट देने ordinary material full contact of the sense organs with the external world, consequences and mental volitions or bill. Mental volitation is karma. It is the root cause of existence. Mental volitation Santon is the desire to love, to re-exist, to continue, to become more and more. This comes under one of the five aggregates which are called mental formations. Both the case of the rising of dukkha as well as the destruction of dukkha are within us. Whatever has the nature of rising within arising within dukkha has the nature of cessation within. There is a basic difference between the kama Pali and karma Sanskrit. As generally understood in Buddhist tradition, the theory of karma in Buddhist philosophy means volitional action. It means neither the action nor the result of the action. Volitional acts can be good or bad. First, volition karma produces either goods, हाँ तो हाँ goods or bad effects, हाँ The results of these actions is the continue in the good or bad direction within the cycle of continuity samsara. The result of the actions will continue to manifest in the life after death. But an but an arahant is free from impurities and defilements. Thus, he has no rebirth, volition, thirst, or the desire to exist, to continue to be reborn in is a tremendous force in each living being. A human person is a combination of the five aggregates, which is combinations of physical and mental categories, mental energies. These energies arise, decay, and die in a person each moment. These energies, once produced, will continue in a series even after death. Buddhists do not believe in a permanent substance like a soul which take a new life after death, but the volitional actions give rise to energy which will give rise to another act, and so it goes on and on as long as there is the thirst to exist. The cycle of continuity samsara continues. The third noble truth, nirodha, the cessation of dukkha. There is there is emancipation or liberation for suffering, which is known as the third noble truth, Du, Dukhana Rodha Arias. Yaryasaka. Liberation is the popularity known as Nirvana in Pali. Nirvana is the total extinction of thirst. How can we understand Nirvana? Nirvana is the absolute supramundane experience. Hence, language is not sufficient to explain it like the Neti approach in Advaita. Nirvana is also explained in negative terms like Thanakaya or extinction of thirst, asamkhata or uncompounded or on conditions, virga or absence of desire, nirodha or cessation, nirvana or blowing out or extinction, the cessation of continuity and becoming a nirvana. Extinction of the thirst does not mean self annihilation, because there is no self of Buddhism. Nirvana is the annihilation of the false idea of the self, is the annihilation of ignorance of vision. Nirvana is not negative experience, but is the absolute truth which is beyond duality and relatively. Truth is not nothing is permanent, everything is dependent on the other. The realization of this is to see things as they are yathavata. Once the wisdom dawns, the continuity of samsara is broken and the mental formulations are no more capable of producing any more illusions. Nirvana can be attained during one's lifetime itself. One need not die. Nirvana is the highest state of experience. One can attain it is happiness without sensation. The fourth noble truth, Maga, the path. This is also known as middle path because it avoids the extremes: happiness through sense pleasures and happiness through extremism. This entire teaching of Buddha can be summarized into the eightfold noble path. They are the following: right understanding, right attitude of mind, right speech, right action, right conduct, right effort, right attention, and right meditation. The eight divisions will help a person to grow in ethical conduct. Sila, mental discipline. Mental discipline, samadhi, and wisdom. Pana. Ethical conduct consists of right speech, right actions, and right livelihood. Similarly, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration from mental discipline, compassion, and wisdom are the two essential factors for a person to be perfect. Wisdom is the quality of the mind or intellect. Will compassion is the quality of the heart. And integrated development of the two aspects will enable person to understand things as they are. Understanding in Buddhism is two kinds. They are grasping a thing based on the given data, which is called knowing accordingly, bodha, and seeing a thing in its true nature, which is called penetration. Padveda. Everyone who follows this can be liberated from the bondage of matter and suffering. 3.4 The doctrine of no soul. Ananta. Most of the religions presuppose the existence of a soul. Buddhism is unique in denying the existence of a soul or Atman. The idea of ego or self is with the aim of self-protection and self-preservation. That these other are basically selfish desire. The concept of ananta is closely connected with the doctrine of the five aggregates and dependent organization or origination. The concept originations. The concept of self can be analyzed as a combination of the five aggregates. There is nothing permanent. Everything is consistent, dependent, and relative. Buddhism or, or is originated at a time when there were two predominant trends in the intellectual milieu of India, that is the powerful and popular spiritualistic thinking and materialistic thinking. The former accepted the authority of the Vedas, while the latter rejected it. Almost all religions accepted the existence of a soul, whereas materialism strongly rejected the existence of a soul. Buddhism did not follow any of the prevalent trends but followed the middle path. Buddhism was an exception in denying the existence of a soul, but at the same time it rejected the materialistic philosophy. The idea of an ego or a self in any religion in the aim of self protection and self preservation. Self protection necessitates the existence of God, and self preservation necessitates the existence of self. These two are basically selfish desires. The concept of ananta is closely connected with the doctrine of the five aggregates and dependent originations. The concept of selves can be analyzed as a combination of the five aggregates. There is nothing permanent, everything is conditioned, independent, and relatively. According to the doctrine of the conditions and according to the analysis of being as five aggregates, the idea of an abiding emotional substance in man or outside, whether it is called atman, a soul, self, or ego, is considered mere false belief, a mental projection. This is the Buddhist doctrine of ananta, no soul or no self. Now, where in these teachings did Buddha mention the existence of a soul? In Dharmapada CHXS verse 5, 6, and 7 negate the existence of soul in clear terms. All conditions things are important, impermanent. All conditioned things are dukkha. All dharmas are without selves. The basic factors of a human person can't account for the existence of a soul. The physical material is impermanent. Whatever is impermanent is the cause of suffering, and whatever is suffering is non-self. Similarly, sensations, mental formations, and consequences can't constitute the self because all these are transient. 3.5 The concept of God. The concept of Buddhism refutes the idea of a God who throws the sinners into everlasting torments. In fact, the Buddhists believe in the existence of an enlightened being who was to save all sentient beings from their sufferings. The concept of enlightenment is principally concerned with developing a method escape from the illusions of the materialistic world. Generally, we use the term God to designate a supreme power who is the creator of the entire universe and the chief lawgiver for humans. The God or Almighty is considered to be concerned with the welfare of his creation and the moksha or salvation for those who follow his dictates. Different religions and sects follow this god differently by different names, but as far as Buddhism is concerned, it has a different perception of for him. Almost all the sects of Buddhism do not believe in the myth of God. Indeed, some of the early Indian Mahayana philosophers denounced group worship in terms which are even stronger than those expressed in the Theravada literature. Some later Mahayana schools which flourished outside India ascribed some degree of divinity to a transcendent Buddha, considering living Buddhas to be a manifestations of the Adi Buddha were demon. Then it can't be said that the Buddha was converted into divinity comparable to the god of the monotheistic religion in the Brahma. Brahmajala Sutta and the Agga Sutta text. The Buddha refutes the claims of Mahabrahma, the main god, and shows him to be subject to karmic law, that is cosmic law. Even long-lived Brahma will be eliminated in its cycle of inevitable dissolutions and revolutions. In the Nevada Sutta, Mahabrahma is forced to admit to an accusing monk that he is unable to answer a question that is posed to him, and advises the monk to consult the Buddha. This clearly shows that Brahma acknowledges the superiority of the Buddha. The Buddha is viewed as some kind of god figure in the Triveda tradition. The Buddha is regarded as the supremely enlightened human teacher who has come to his last birth in the samsara, the Buddhist cycle of existence. But Mahayana traditions, which tend to think in terms of transcendental Buddha, do not directly make a claim for Buddha as God. Thus, the Buddha can't be considered playing a god-like role in Buddhism. Rather, Buddha is concerned as an enlightened father of humanity. 3.6 Secrets of Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism developed into one canon scripture using much that was included in the Theravada canon, but adding other Mahayana sutras. So sutras is contain the basis of their peculiar beliefs. Among these, the best known of most widely used are the famous lotus, the gospel and the Sukhabhati view, of which are the scriptures, especially of the pure land sects. The path followed by the Gautama is thus Mahayana, the great vehicle of the Buddhista The Mahayana movement claims to have been founded by the Buddha himself. through at first confined to a select group of hearers. Many of the leading teachers of the new doctrines were born in South India, studied there and afterwards gone to be north. One of the earliest and most important being Nagarjuna and other major status Christ, circumstantially connected with the South. During the lifetime of the Blessed One Buddha, he was already highly venerated and his aid was invoked by his disciples in their spiritual struggles. A simple cult developed about the relics of the Blessed One very early. His body was burned and the ashes and bones distributed among the cliffs. Shrines were built to house those relics, some of them very elaborate and expensive. For example, the very impressive one that has his head image of the Buddha representing him meditation under the Bodhi tree become common. At first they were convinced simply as subjectively helpful venerations of the relic and the effect of claiming the heart. Later arose the belief that such a reverential act was good itself and would result in securing merit. Pilgrimages made to sacred sport associated with him would likewise benefit one and would result in karma. Given the characteristic Hindu background, it was natural that for all practical purposes Gautama should soon become a god through the theoretically called so. Given likewise the characteristic Hindu speculative philosophical interest, speculative attempts to explain
ठीक है जब तक तुम उसको कवर नहीं करोगे ना जब तक कुछ नहीं होगा उसका पूरा कवर करना पड़ेगा उसको और मेन खास करके ये
claiming the heart later arose the belief the search of reverential act was good in itself and would result in securing merit. Pilgrimages made secrets. Given the characters in the background, it is natural that the for all practical purposes Gautama should soon become a good through not theoretically called so. Given likewise the characteristic in the speculative philosophical interest attempts to explain the relation of the Buddha to the ultimate reality of the universe naturally began to be made almost from the start. According to the Mahayana, reality is beyond the rational intellect or beyond the four categories of understanding, and they say that the world is real and relative, and absolute reality only appears as a manifold universe. Plural is not real. The Mahayana concept of liberation is not merely for one, but is meant for all. But is all. The idol Bodhisattva defers his own salvation in order to work for the salvation of others, and they also hold that nirvana is not a negative state of cessation of mastery, but is positive bliss. Hinayana. The Hinayana or lesser vehicle has been more moderate in its doctrine of the person of the Buddha. He is theoretically neither a good nor a supermutual being. His worship or veneration is helpful but not essential to the achievement of the salvation goal. This is to be reached by something like the process Gautama taught, namely meditation on the Four Noble Truths and the keeping of the Dharma. Instead becoming a monk for one could not carry out all the requirements and live an active life in the day-to-day world. This number to whom salvation lay open was comparatively small. It was this fact which caused the followers of the Mahayana school to call the older school the little vehicle. Not many could ride at a time. Ignite. Mahayana on the on the other hand, made salvation universally possible for achievement. ये मैं पढ़ रही हूँ एक बुक है
हाँ,
और
अगर वही
इसका
स्कूल में इतना पढ़ती थी तो आप तो पास होती थी ना।
मैं पास हूँ ना 12th।
हाँ?
इसको कर दिए पूरा ले पूरा निकालना है एक ही बार में फास्ट करना पड़ेगा
ऐसा भी लेकर छूटता।
मैं निकल भी गया प्रिया
ठीक है आएगा मैं जब तक एक कॉल आएगा मेरा।
The goal of the Hinayana was to become an arhat, that is to arrive at nirvana in the present life, an ideal of salvation of the self with no reference to the welfare of others, and thus an egoistic ideal that of Mahayana was of a more altruistic sort. It was to become a Buddha, and theoretically, at least, anyone might aspire to reach Buddhahood. To this sort, he would not reach it in one single lifetime. But there was elaborated a definite series of self-telling all through which one must pass before arriving at the goal. One who had taken the vow of future Buddha, who was called a Bodhisattva, and he need not be a monk. Here was a clear-cut difference from the Hinayana school. Hinayana school, a layman might aspire for the highest goal, but the most notable difference was the fact that in becoming a Bodhisattva, one become after possessing काली कुआ कुआ मत कॉल करेगी Hela. After passing a certain stage, the great cosmic helper or savior dedicated to the saving of mankind, man came to rely on the help of such great beings in the search for freedom. Along with this idea came a change in the conceptions of the Buddha. Gautama became but one is a great line of Buddhists behind whom stood the eternal Buddha, the Dharmakaya, a conception similar to the old Hindu Brahma manifest in Vishnu or Shiva. There were five principal Buddhas, of whom Gautama was one Buddha. Maitreya was yet to come. To those Buddhas is accorded worship as also to the Buddhasttavas or great beings who are known to be especially helpful to them. Prayer is made upon them, centered of loyalty and devotion. One among the Buddhas, Amitabha, came to be in an unusual degree the object of faith and devotion, and to him prayers were made. His powerful name was repeated countless times, for so meritorious was it that there was a strange potency in its merry repetition. According to them, you must be a light into yourself, Atma Dipo Bhava, and they also say that liberation is meant for a person and by oneself. The arhathood is attained through a difficult path of self-help, and nirvana is extension of mastery. 3.8 Let us sum up. The unity describes the emergence of Buddhism as tradition alternative to the existing ritualistic tradition. The sects within Buddhism and spread various basic tenets of Buddha's teaching and got developed as religious sects.